Sealed Nectar, the publisher's note. Heart of every Muslim is filled with the love of the last Prophet Muhammad, and this love of the Messenger of Allah is an asset for him. Love and respect of a person depends on the benefits we get from him, as the Prophet is the greatest benefactor of humanity. Every Muslim has deepest love for him. Every deed of his life is to be followed by every individual of Muslim Ummah. Highest love for the Prophet is made a test of our faith. Allah Almighty has described and explained the status of Muhammad in Quran. Say, O Muhammad, to mankind, if you really love Allah, then follow me. Accept Islamic monotheism, follow the Quran and Sunnah. Allah will love you. Love of Allah's Messenger is a part of our faith. There is a hadith tradition of Prophet. He said, none of you has faith unless I am dearer to him than his father and his son and all mankind. In the early period of time of Islam, many books were written on his life of the Prophet. In the Quran itself, good example of the life of Muhammad has also been mentioned. Quran says, and verily you, O Muhammad, are on an exalted standard of character. Someone asked Aisha about the noble character and manners of the Prophet. She answered, have you not read the Quran? His character is a complete explanation of Quran. It means that whatever is commanded and prohibited in the Quran, its practical example is present in the manners of Muhammad. In other words, the ideal and perfect example of good manners and character which Quran demands from mankind was present in the person of Muhammad in its highest degree. Scholars of Hadith, tradition and writers of the biography of Muhammad, the Messenger of Allah, has explored his life from every angle and aspect, from birth to death. Every event, every incident of his life has been described and narrated, but none has claimed that he has given its full rights. Hundreds of books have been written on the life of Muhammad, and this routine will continue till the day of resurrection. No doubt, Al-Rahiq, the Sealed Nectar, is a book of great value and praiseworthy work on the life of Muhammad. This book has been written by the eminent Sheikh Safi of Jamia Salafia, Banaras, India. The first Islamic conference on Sahih biography of the Prophet was held in 1976 at Pakistan through the Muslim World League. The League announced a world contest for writing a book on the life of the Prophet. 150,000 Saudi riyals, $40,000 was declared prize money for the first 5 books. 171 manuscripts were received from all over the world. Out of these, 84 were in Arabic language, 64 in Urdu language, 21 were in English language, and 1 each in French and Hausa. A board of highly qualified scholars judged the manuscripts and announced the results. The manuscripts of Sheikh Safi ur-Rahman, Jamia Salafia, Banaras, India, author of the book in hand, received first prize, 50,000 Saudi riyals for its authentic and sound collections of the narrations. Dr. New Delhi, India received second prize. Third prize went to Dr. Nazir Ahmed, Islamic University, Pakistan. Fourth prize was awarded to Mr. Hamid. And the last fifth prize was given to Abdul Salam Hashim of Medina Munawwara. A dignified prize distribution ceremony was held at Mecca Mukarramah, 1399 AH. Afterwards, the book was published by the Muslim World League, and then many other organizations gained the honor of publishing this book. In Arabic language. I wish to publish this book in English language for the wider benefit of humanity. Willingly agreed to the idea and consented to publish the English translation. The stage of translation was traversed with the help of Brother Mahir, owner general in Damascus, Syria. Erudite staff members of Maktaba worked day and night and accomplished the project. Original text was compared with the translation. Necessary alterations were made and other needful technical tasks were completed. Numbered Quranic verses and traditions and added vowel points to them. After a coherent toil of months, the book is published. All praise is for Allah. I am thankful to all the staff members of Maktaba, and Brother Mahir Dahab deserves my special thanks for the help and cooperation. The publisher will appreciate views and opinions of the readers about this book. Yours, Brother in Islam. All praise is due to Allah, the Rabb of all mankind, jinn and all that exists. May the peace and blessings of Allah be upon our Prophet, the chief of all the messengers, Muhammad, his family, companions, and all those who follow him till the day of judgment. It is about 2 decades before when I presented brief outlines of my life to the Muslim World League. While compilation and publishing of this book, since after many changes have taken place, therefore I prefer to update this information. Name and lineage, Safiur Rahman. I was born in the middle of year 1942 in Husainabad, a village 1 mile far in the north side of a town famous for home industry in the northern province of India. I started my studies at home reading the Quran from my grandfather and uncle. Then I was admitted in Madrasa, Arabia, and started basic Islamic education in Arabic and Persian languages. In Shawwal, I got admission in Madrasa for further education in Islamic studies and Arabic literature. 2 years later, in Shawwal, May 1956, I joined Madrasa Faith for higher education. On completion of my 7 years study in Islamic courses, I received Fadilat, degree from the same institute in Shaban. I also received the certificates of Molvi in 1959 and Alim in 1960 from Government Education Board on passing their examinations with high grade. After changes in the system of Arabic schools, I participated in Fadl degree examination under the Government Education Board, consequently passed double Fadl examinations in 1976 and 1978 with high grade. a surname which is usually derived from the name of first son or daughter according to Muslim traditions. Professional life. After completion of my studies in madrasa in the year 1961, I began teaching, preaching, lecturing and delivering sermons. But the unfavourable circumstances could not permit me to stay a long time in one place. In March 1963, I joined madrasa. Then I transferred to madrasa in the same city in February 1966 and January 1969. I was appointed as principal in madrasa. After 4 years in 1972, I was requested to serve in my native institute, madrasa. After spending 2 years, I was invited by Jamia to join as teacher, Ustad. I joined there in Shawwal, October 1974, worked in various sections till Dhul Hijjah, 1408, July 1988. A research institute was established in 1408 in the Islamic University of Al-Madinah as the center for the services of the Prophet's biography. I was selected to work there and was entrusted the duties of preparing encyclopedia on the subject of the life history of the Prophet, where I am working as a scholar to date. Books and compilations, it is the mercy of Allah who favoured me and provided me the ability of writing from the very beginning of my career. During my teaching period, I wrote and compiled about 17 books in Urdu and Arabic languages. When the monthly Urdu magazine of Jamia was published in 1980, I was appointed as chief editor of the magazine section up to September 1988, until I joined Islamic University at Al-Madinah. During that period, I wrote a number of essays on social, historical, political, and religious topics, which were appreciated by the people, alhamdulillah. O our Rabb, accept from us with goodly acceptance, and seek it grow in a good manner. Contents. Location and nature of Arab tribes. Beyond a shadow of doubt, the biography of the Prophet Muhammad manifestly represents an exhaustive embodiment of the sublime divine message that he communicated in order to deliver the human race from the swamp of darkness and polytheism to the paradise of light and monotheism and image, authentic as well as comprehensive. Of this message is therefore only attainable through careful study and profound analysis of both backgrounds and issues of such a biography. In view of this, a whole chapter is here introduced about the nature and development of Arab tribes prior to Islam, as well as the circumstantial environment that enwrapped the Prophet's mission. Location of the Arabs. Linguistically, the word Arab means deserts and waste barren land, well nigh waterless and treeless. Ever since the dawn of history, the Arabian Peninsula and its people have been called as such. The Arabian Peninsula is enclosed in the west by the Red Sea and Sinai, in the east by Arabian Gulf, in the south by Arabian Sea, which is an extension of the Indian Ocean, and in the north by Old Syria and part of Iraq. The area is estimated between 1 million and 1.25 square miles, thanks to its geographical position. The peninsula has always maintained great importance considering its internal setting. It is mostly deserts and sandy places, which has rendered it inaccessible to foreigners and invaders, and allowed its people complete liberty and independence through the ages, despite the presence of two neighbouring great empires. Its external setting, on the other hand, caused it to be the centre of the old world and provided it with sea and land links with most nations at the time. Thanks to this strategic position, the Arabian Peninsula had become the center for trade, culture, religion, and art. Arab tribes, Arab kingfolks have been divided according to lineage into three groups. Perishing Arabs, the ancient Arabs of whose history little is known, and of one were Ad, Thamud, Tassam, Jadis, Ela, Emla, and others. Pure Arabs who originated from the progeny of Yarum bin Yashjun bin Kahtan. They were also called Carthaginian Arabs, Arabized Arabs who originated from the progeny of Ishmael. They were also called Adnanian Arabs. The pure Arabs, the people of Khartan, originally lived in Yemen and comprised many tribes, two of which were very famous. Himyar, the most famous of whose sects were Zayd al-Jamhur, the most famous of whose sects were Hamdan, the kings of old Syria. Kahlan Serbs immigrated from Yemen to dwell in the different parts of the Arabian Peninsula prior to the Great Flood. Due to the failure of trade under the Roman pressure and dominion on both sea and land trade routes following Roman occupation of Egypt and Syria, naturally enough, the competition between Kahlan and Himyar led to evacuation of the first and the settlement of the second in Yemen. The immigrating sects of Kahlan can be divided into four groups, who, under the leadership of Imran bin wandered in Yemen, sent pioneers, and finally headed northwards. Details of their immigration can be summed up as follows. Left his tribe, dwelt between the Kar. When he gained strength, he headed for Medina, where he stayed. Of his seed are sons of Herefer, wandered with his folks in Hijaz until they came to. Later they conquered the Haram and settled in Mecca.